public input. So we'll move on to the next item, which is the delegations. And we have Tony Valente, I believe, Tony from Hub North Shore, talk about the activities on cycling improvements. Welcome, Tony.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having us here tonight to all the council. Hub North Shore is one of 10 municipal committees operating throughout Metro Vancouver, where we have 2,000 members. And our goal is to make cycling better and safer. And we do this through education, and we do this through events, and we do this through actions. And our actions include working with municipalities to build safer infrastructure for people on bikes. Tonight, my goal is to tell you about our initiatives this year and tell you about why we're excited for 2017. One of our most famous activities is actually Bike to Work Week, and we've had exponential growth year over year from 2010 to 2016, and we expect that to continue as infrastructure makes riding bikes safer, and these numbers will continue to grow. I'd also like to thank District Council for supporting a Bike to Work Week station at Second Narrows this year. It was a great addition. On the bike to school front, we had 16,000 trips this year alone, and closer to home, Lynn Valley Elementary actually won the award for Best Elementary School. So that's great. In 2016, Hub also delivered two programs on the North Shore. One is that we provided bike maintenance courses in West Vancouver, but here in the district, we had a Learn to Ride session at Canyon Heights Elementary. And this was possible because Hub applied for and obtained a BC Gaming grant to be able to deliver the course. And anecdotally, I'm hearing that a lot of the students have continued to take their bikes to school since. Hub's very interested in offering and providing these courses to schools throughout North Vancouver, and so we'd be very keen to continue partnering on this type of education. Our group's also been active in the community at a number of festivals. And part of our activity is actually reaching out to people who ride bikes, but also people that are keen to get back in the saddle or interested in getting onto a bike for the first time. And we get lots of questions and feedback from folks about the bike routes in the area. And this is great because it helps us be a better advocate for them with the municipalities. So we were at Lynn Valley Days, the Coho Festival, and Fun City as well. One other way that we show our support and our care for our community is through the Adopt a Street program. So for 3 years, our members of our group have been picking up litter on the Spirit Trail through Norgate and as well on East Keith Road. Our community is changing and growing, and we've really appreciated invitations from staff and council to provide feedback as a stakeholder on the Mountain Highway interchange, as well as on the Maplewood Town Centre planning. So I want to thank council for that. This year we've been very encouraged by the work that's been completed or will be completed, and you have a list here by North Shore Municipality, and there's a lot of them up there from the district, so it's a list to be proud of. And we look forward to continued cooperation and partnering with the district as we continue to remove gaps in the bike network on the North Shore. So in closing, we wanted to say thank you to council for its ongoing support. We look forward to next year. We're very excited about next year, given council's recently passed motion to build a protected bike network. And we do believe this is a major step forward. It's going to allow people to use bikes as a means of transportation, and not just the folks necessarily that we have riding now, but people of all ages and all abilities. So really to expand the number of folks using bikes for transportation. And it's encouraging that council's had the vision to start this work on Lynn Valley Road. So in closing, thank you for your support of this network and for all your support making transportation by bike safer this year.
Great. There are a few questions, Tony, if you can read, that'd be great. Thank you.
Do my best.
I'll start off with Councillor Bass and then Councillor Hicks.
I'll move receipt of the delegation.
Okay. Councillor Hicks, second.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. So thank you for the presentation. Just a question popped into my head there. Lynn Valley, highest participation rate. Wondering if you have a correlation between French immersion schools and schools that draw sort of district-wide versus catchment schools, and whether you have a higher participation rate in the catchment schools, less vehicle traffic.
I think it's an excellent question. I don't have the data here tonight to respond to that question.
Do you have the actual numbers from each school?
I can speak with our hub headquarters and see what numbers they do have. And if
Yeah,
you
I'd be
can do
curious
that-
because it's easy to know which ones are French immersion or catchment wide.
Sure, yeah, no,
versus
that's-
local ones, and that'd be just interesting numbers for me. But thank you very much, and nice work.
Thank you.
Councillor Hicks.
Thank you for your leadership in this issue on biking, and I've got 2 families, 4 adults and 5 children who cycle to work and school each day as far away as Burnaby and the city, and they're appreciative of some of the changes we're making to the protected bike lanes. But one comment I got, 4 or 5 of them cycle from Mountain Highway and areas to Ross Road. They all go together in a group. But I'm just wondering, if you look at the participation at the elementary school level, and then you look at high schools, there's a marked difference. Do you think that the routine and regular approaches of these younger children will carry on into high school? Because I think it would be really good if high school students got into that activity as well, both from a perspective of keeping cars off the road and also activity. So have you found any difference in promoting those two areas?
I guess what I would say is that by offering these courses earlier on, you're giving children the knowledge to get started, and obviously that should carry through as they become adults as well. So I can't speak specifically to that question necessarily, but the plan is to give them that education. And then the other piece of this is, of course, the infrastructure, and so that's what's so important to really enabling a wider group of people to be able to participate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I had a question. I think all of this, the council's taken a lot of public anger over the changes on Lynn Valley Road over the last little while. We've all shared that. I was actually, I think, away at the meeting that precipitated that, actually in October. But I would wonder if you can, because obviously we're always trying to, every time we make a decision on any change in the district, we're trying to weigh the public good against the public concern against that. And could you just comment from the cycling community as to, what difference it will make having those cycling lanes connecting Lynn Valley Road under the freeway and down to the top of Grand Boulevard? To what extent is that used? What are the risks, et cetera, for those of you who use that route frequently?
Well, so I mean that route right now without the protection is quite exposed to traffic. So I think that's a substantial improvement, and I think there's a lot of people that are keen to use that, especially as you see that center grow.
Yeah.
That's going to become one of your principal routes. I mean, there's really only 2 ways in and out of Lynn Valley, right? Mountain Highway and Lynn Valley Road. I think change is always difficult for communities, and that doesn't necessarily, just because there's resistance at the beginning doesn't mean that it's not worth doing, especially when it comes to life safety. And it's not just safety for people riding their bikes, but it's an awareness for drivers and safety for drivers as well.
I wasn't at that meeting in early October because I was in Rotterdam in Holland riding a bike and rode on their urban bike network, which is quite high speed and you have to be way more alert there as a cyclist than you do as a driver, because there's way more bicycles on the road than cars, and you've got intersections that are beside traffic lights, and you can be very easily hit by a bike if you're a pedestrian. Chances of being hit by a bike are way greater than being hit by a car, actually, if you're not paying attention in Rotterdam. I guess the issue I have is that there's a public safety, sometimes widening sidewalks, doing that kind of stuff, improving visibility, has a spin-off in that it often involves removing vegetation, removing green space, et cetera, in order to do this. And that's always, in a community like ours that places a high value on that, that's exactly the kind of issue that percolated to the surface in the Lynn Valley community. And I wonder if you have any comments on that at all. Any good advice for us?
I think you have to have a vision. I mean, there's definitely a need to move people, and there's definitely a life safety issue when we don't address how to move people on bikes or in vehicles. So I would encourage council to continue to be bold. Mm-hmm. There's lots of space for vegetation, and I encourage council to find solutions where hopefully all parties can win.
I know Mayor Masato was telling me he got a huge amount of public backlash when they put the cycling part of the green necklace down the middle of Grand Boulevard. There was half the people who were really happy with it, and then there was a really angry other half, and in the project. And as I said, unfortunately, there's always winners and losers when those things happen. Councillor Basson.
Thanks. You brought up Lynn Valley and the bike lanes there, and I just wanted to reiterate too, while we have removed at this point, anyone who goes up and down that road realizes the center median's gone, and we're widening, and we've removed some vegetation, some trees. It's important to realize that we're actually restoring things. When we put those bike lanes in, we will actually have a center median. We will have some vegetation and some of the ability to have that character that's so important to Lynn Valley. I don't want that message to get lost because it has circulated out there that, oh my God, the median's gone and the vegetation, we're destroying the whole thing. No, we're moving. We're actually shifting the whole road over to the east, widening. We're going to have 2 lanes of traffic. We're going to have 2, secure bike lanes, separated AAA bike lanes. We're going to have a center median, right, with vegetation and possibly a hedge feature, right, going back in there. So, it's going to be really good when it's done, and it's that period of change that raises some anxiety, but hopefully we can get through that and then start to see the benefits. And I've seen the unfortunate interaction between traffic and cyclists, and that's a very constricted, very dangerous stretch of road. So I'm really glad that we're getting that done.
Thank you for that. If I could just say one other thing is that it is so important, as we know, especially in recent events, to get the truth out there. And sometimes there's perceptions that get perpetuated, and they're not necessarily what's really happening. So that certainly helps. Thanks.
Great. Thanks very much for coming. Appreciate it. Thanks, Tony. Oh, yeah. Call a question for motion proceed. Yes, it was moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you.